Hi, I'm Julene, and welcome to the Night Sky Tour for the week of November 4th through November 11th. So what I have here is the night sky at 6:45 p.m. on Friday, November 4th. Now if I back this up a hair to 6:30, you'll see that the only thing visible in the southwest sky is going to be Venus. But by about 6:45, Mercury is going to pop into view. Antares in Scorpio is going to pop into view, and in the southwestern sky you'll see Altair and Aquila the Eagle. Now if we turn our gaze to the eastern horizon, we will find Jupiter. The moon will be southeast, Jupiter will be here in the east, and as we track through the week we'll find that the moon will actually conjoin with Jupiter. But what I want to do first is make the sky a hair darker so we see some stars, because you realize that the Clash of the Titans story plays out in the heavens every night. I'm going to bring this down a bit so we can see. You have to look way up near the zenith for this constellation, and when it gets later more stars will pop into view, and this will actually look like a kid's drawing of a house. You'll see this star here, 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 and here. So this is King Cepheus, and the main star in this constellation is Aldebaran, which is male sovereignty, and it's success through gentle determination. So here is King Cepheus with his alpha star, meaning male sovereignty. Now Cassiopeia is the queen who is very vain and boasting about her daughter's beauty. So here's Queen Cassiopeia. She is the W or M in the sky, however you choose to look at it. And her main star, Shader, is female sovereignty, appropriately, and it represents dignity, respectability, and honor. Now Andromeda is her daughter, who wound up being chained to the rocks for the Kraken to come and get her. And she has a couple main stars. This one here, Merak, is female receptivity and fertility. So I want to step over here to Perseus, because here's Perseus, and his star here, Merphak, is young male energy, about throwing caution to the wind and overestimating his abilities. And Perseus is who was going to rescue and save Andromeda. So what he had to do to rescue and save Andromeda was to cut off the head of Medusa, and somehow, without looking into her eyes, get it over to where Andromeda was, and he flew over on Pegasus, who helped him out, and which froze the Kraken, and the Kraken crumbled and went into the sea, and Andromeda was saved. So what's also interesting here is that in Perseus is the star Algol. And if I were to put the backgrounds in here for a moment, you'll see that this is right where the head of Medusa is. And Algol, of course, is the constellation that is, or is the star that represents losing one's head or being decapitated. And back in the day where people were decapitated by the kings all the time in the town square, it certainly meant that. So today losing one's head may be more metaphorical, though it is an interesting star to watch when people have been assassinated and shot in the head and things like that, because Algol really does show up for losing your head, both literally and metaphorically. Now this other star here, Alpheratz in Andromeda, is about freedom and movement. And then over here in Pegasus, its two main stars are Sheet, which is the love of logic, and Markab, of being steady. I want to take these illustrations away, and I want to get a few more stars to pop into the sky. So I'm going to go ahead here to 8. This is 7:30 p.m. Now when you see the great square of Pegasus in the sky, what you're actually noticing is Alpheratz at the head of Andromeda makes a square to Sheet, to Markeb, to Alganeb, and back to Alpheratz. Okay, so this is the great square of Pegasus. You see it's actually borrowing the star from the head of Andromeda, but the entire constellation exists over here. All right, so back to our sky tour of the evening. We're going to go back to the western horizon, the southwest, and I'm going to back up to where we saw our planets. Okay, so there's 6:45. By 7 p.m., Mercury is going to be set, and Venus will follow quite shortly after. So let's take a tour through the week at 6:45, and let's watch these two planets move across Antares as they head eastward in their direct motion. So this is the evening of Friday the 4th at 6:45. There's the 5th. Here is Sunday the 6th. Now when I go to Monday the 7th, we turn our clocks back on Sunday. Daylight savings time is over. So this is going to be 5:45 p.m. Okay, and then we have Tuesday, November 8th, Wednesday the 9th. Look how close they are to Antares now. So Antares is going to be below Mercury, and it's going to be redder than Mercury. And Mercury, of course, will be in the middle, and Venus will be the bright star, well, planet above that you won't be able to miss. There's Thursday the 10th and next Friday the 11th. Let's go back to the 4th. Put it back on daylight savings time, and let's watch the moon track Jupiter in the evening sky. So here's the 4th. Here's the 5th, the 6th. Now again, turn off the daylight time. So we're at 5:45. There's the 7th, the 8th. So Jupiter is going to be just below the moon on the evening of the 8th. If we were to track this ahead a few hours, okay, so there's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. It's just going to remain below. This is going to get very high in the night sky. The ecliptic is high right now. Here is the 9th. The moon and Jupiter are going to be right next to each other on the 9th. There's the 10th and the 11th next Friday. And at this point, the moon will be right between the Pleiades, where it says Alcyone here. That's one of the 7 sisters. This is the Pleiades cluster. And if you have a telescope and you look at this cluster through your telescope, there are so many stars right there in that area of the sky that you can't even pick out the original 7. It's pretty cool. And then Aldebaran is here below. This star is also red. All right, so let's progress this ahead. We'll go back to the 4th, and let's watch Mars rise. Mars is going to be the next planet to rise. Oops. There's the 4th. I'm going to go up in time. There's midnight, so at midnight on the 5th, okay, here's Mars rising around 1 a.m., just above Regulus. Now I'm going to get this to 2 a.m. because what I want to show you now is Mars is going to come very, very close to Regulus this week. So here is the morning of the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. This is next Friday morning, Mars and Regulus. All right, so let's watch for Saturn. Go back to the 4th, actually the 5th for Saturday morning, and let's watch for Saturn to rise. Saturn's in Virgo. It's coming right up. Okay, so about 6:30, yep, about 6:30, Saturn will rise. There's 6:30. Spica's coming up just after that. So here's Saturn and Spica. Saturn's going to move a very minuscule amount. You probably won't notice it, but here we go. There's the morning of the 5th. It's the morning of Sunday the 6th at 6:45, which is 5:45 since we've turned back our clocks by this point. It's the morning of the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Okay, so we still have, the same planets we've been looking at for the last 3 weeks. Mercury and Venus are in the west at sunset. Jupiter's rising in the east. Mars is rising, around 1 a.m. daylight savings time, standard time. Saturn's rising around 5 o'clock. And let's see what this looks like in the morning. So I'm going to change this view to a 180 so we can see the whole morning sky. Spin it around here. There we go. So this is, we'll head back to the morning of the 4th. Okay, so the morning of the 4th, let's try to do, gosh, I'm trying to get everything in here. Because Jupiter hasn't set yet, right? There's Jupiter in the west. If I go to 6 a.m., see, now it's starting to get light out, but look at all these stars we still see. This is actually 7, because it's on this morning. That's Saturday morning, 7 a.m. We can still see Jupiter about to set. So Jupiter's going to set shortly after, or shortly before sunrise this week. Jupiter's going to set about 7:15, which is 6:15 when we go back to standard time. So in the morning, that's where you'll see Jupiter, and Saturn will be rising here in the east, and Mars will be between this in the south-southeast sky in the morning. So there you have it for the week. Let me know what you think of this video, if you like it better without the constellation pictures in the background, if it's easier to make sense of things. Let me know. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.